A former Counter-Strike pro turned Valorant pro and now streamer and creator Shahzam is under fire over the past week in a viral video on YouTube, which has now broken 1 million views, where it alleges that he has been caught cheating and also alleges that he was involved in the iBUYPOWER Matchfixing scandal, the notorious Counter-Strike scandal, which is why we are talking about it today. By the way, both of those things are not true, and that is why Shahzam has responded to these allegations made in this now viral video. But in case you guys don't remember the glorious moments in Counter-Strike history of the iBUYPOWER match-fixing scandal that went down, let's reminisce a little bit with the clip.
iBUYPOWER finally hitting the gas pedal now, getting quite a bit of kills here. Only JDM is left alive now. Steel is right there, gets a bunch of damage off, ends up taking him to make this a 5 versus 4 battle. He doesn't get out of it scot-free though.
Man, if they could get that kill, it's even better for him because the mid-man
doesn't go for the shot. He's going to try and get the flank off. He's going to have 2 right there. Can they line up for him? What is he doing? Why did he hesitate so much? Doesn't matter. Has the CZ, gets one, gets taken down. Oh, he says he wanted a knife.
And that was also 10 years ago. That is how fast time flies. It is just crazy. Like, oh my goodness, 10 years, the things that have happened and the things that I thought we moved on from. But this viral video posted just over a week ago and garnering so many views and painting Shahzam in a light which he has now responded to, I would say rightfully so, where multiple times throughout this video, this account, it was formerly known as Timmy Val, now named Retake, it alleges that Shahzam was not only in on the iBUYPOWER match-fixing scandal, which we know not to be true. At one point, this video even says that Shahzam was playing on the iBUYPOWER team, which we also know to definitely not be true.
Eventually, Shahzam would speak out about the situation publicly, trying to flip the script that he had been blackmailed into covering up the rigging of the game. And netcodesguide.com was majorly behind the setup, and because they were paying him off, he was doing what he was told, which was to stay quiet about the situation. At least that's what Shahzam claimed. Later, however, through screenshots of him messaging others about the rigged game would be leaked, it would show all along that Shahzam not only knew what was going on behind the scenes, but was contributing to it.
Here's allegedly what Shahzam said after the game. "You can't tell anyone, please. I trust you." Okay, guys, sorry for the accent. Anyway, basically he told the recipient of this they're doing it for skids, enjoy the show, and that this match is being rigged.
So, well, he was trying to rig the matches. Shahzam was exposed shortly after being dropped from Cloud9 because it was revealed that he was involved in a match-fixing scandal in the Pro League. For those of you that don't understand, basically, match-fixing is when a player would tell somebody the outcome of a game before it happens. And because Shahzam was playing in the games, he had a huge control over what was going on.
And in this response video, we revisit time because this is also information Shahzam shared, you know, almost a decade ago, where he does redescribe his position in this whole match-fixing scandal. As you guys remember, nearly the entire team faced punishments and bans, and those affiliated with, of course, making a little bit of money from skins. Each of those players, by the way, have come back in a certain way, and their careers have continued, and those unbans will be happening like kind of sometime in the near future, which is cool. But Shahzam clarifies, hey, I had a bet on the opposing team. He also found out about the fix near time to when the match began and switched his bet because he knew the fix was happening. Later, via investigation from Richard Lewis and Valve, they cleared his name for being involved in the fix, as in him being behind the fix. It was not true. He did know the fix was going to happen and switched his little bet, which was wrong, certainly so, but it did not warrant a ban or severe punishment following investigation because he wasn't in on the whole ordeal, which is what matters most.
On August 21st, 2014, iBUYPOWER, who was set to play Netcode Guides in a match for the CSGO League, decided to use this match as an opportunity to bet against themselves and throw in order to win skins on CSGO Lounge. The relationship between the two teams was that Daze, the IGL of iBUYPOWER, co-owned Netcode Guides with his good friend Casey Foster. I knew Casey Foster because I helped him develop his website as a web developer, and I was also sponsored by the website at the time. About 10 minutes before the match went live, Casey told me iBUYPOWER were throwing the game. Throws seemed to be an open secret amongst pros, and they were warning friends who could lose skins on bets. I had already bet on the game for iBUYPOWER to win, and on CSGO Lounge, you couldn't cancel a bet. You could only change the team you picked the bet on. When I was informed of the potential throw, I made the regrettable decision to change my bet. I was young, had a lot to learn, and I admit I didn't want to lose my skins. I now recognize this was inappropriate, and it goes against the spirit of fair competition. I was honest and forthcoming about how everything went down when I spoke to Valve's lawyers. And after Valve worked directly with CSGO Lounge, and Richard Lewis, the investigative journalist who broke the original story, they found no evidence of my involvement in the fix.
And you can no longer bet on iBUYPOWER. Unfortunately, guys, they don't have a CS roster, at least for now, but you can bet on esports and CS with our esports betting sponsor, that being ThunderPick. 21 plus only. Please bet responsibly, guys. They've been sending us to events. They've also been our sponsor for quite some time. I am super thankful for them. And yeah, you can bet on Counter-Strike, as I do. A little bit at a time, all right? $5 bets, they go my way. Bigger bets do not. So thanks to them for being our sponsor. And then later on in this video as well, it kind of paints a negative light the whole time towards Shahzam, because Shahzam has become, I would argue, one of the more hated CS and Valorant players out there because of how he has responded to some dramas and because of the groups that he has intertwined and become involved with. For some reason, he has become way more hated than he should be, at least in my opinion. But he has certainly had a certain part of the Valorant audience also turn against him, and some of the stuff, rightfully so, but when it comes to this stuff, not at all. But a negative connotation throughout this entire video, where they even go on to state he had been team hopping and was the first player to be dropped from most of his teams because of the match fixing scandal, which again is not true. As you guys know, most CS players and esports players, why they're eventually dropped from a roster, it's pretty obvious. It's what goes on in the events, the tournaments, with the roster itself performance-wise. That is usually the case.
So this was the real start of Shahzam's downfall. We all saw quickly that Shahzam was willing to drop his morals in favor of some cash. And being a shady dude makes people notice things, and people were catching on really quick that this is someone that you did not want to trust. Shahzam's sketchy past, along with this match, is most likely the reason for his all over the place team hopping, along with the fact that he wasn't just actually that good at the game anymore.
With the P9, he finds one, and Spotty's actually find another. Sean Garrison gets slaughtered into the side, and it's going to be down to Shahzam as this fight has been... Oh, no! And that's going to be your best of 3, guys. Echo Fox. Yeah, gonna get eliminated.
However, even with all of this going on, Shahzam would eventually get a chance to play for Misfits Gaming and then Complexity Gaming, both very popular teams that would qualify for major tournaments with Shahzam. However, as soon as the team would start to play poorly, Shahzam would be one of the first players to be dropped. Nobody exactly wanted him on their team, so at the first time to do so, they would always drop him.
A lot of different things were painted and I would say misinformed in this entire video, so Shahzam goes on for about 3 to 4 minutes at the very end to kind of round up and summarize all of the misinformation in the viral video with over 1 million views, and to correct that information with information that was already out there 10 years ago. And that just kind of goes to show like what goes trending on YouTube. And I think it's, if you guys have noticed this too, a big part of YouTube trending right now, especially in esports is gaming, is like the most hated player in this, or the downfall of this, or why everyone hates this. That seems to be the content that does the best, and that's why I think this thing about Shahzam did so well, even though a lot of the information in the video was just completely untrue.
My story matched up, and I never received a punishment of any sort. I was never involved with the fic, I've never thrown games, and this is how it happened. Here's a clip of a video from Richard Lewis released the day the iBUYPOWER players were banned.
I had Shahzam basically saying, I will go on the record and tell you everything, in exchange for not being incriminated, which of course there was nothing to incriminate him into because he wasn't involved.
Now I want to address why my name is entangled in this situation in the first place. The first article regarding the iBUYPOWER scandal was published by Richard Lewis the day after the match, August 22nd, 2014. Within the article were leaked screenshots of me telling a friend that went to my school that the match was fake. Honestly, I was really immature here. Bragging about it was dumb, and the right thing to do would have been to come forward about it myself in the first place. That said, this conversation alone was not enough evidence, so the throw went unpunished for about 5 months. It was not until Richard Lewis got a series of text convos from the ex-girlfriend of Deborn, who was one of the people implicated in the throw, where Deborn explained how they conspired to throw the game. This was now enough evidence for Richard to do a full investigation and for Valve to step in and personally look into it. When both Richard Lewis and Valve reached out to me, I told them everything I knew in the same way I've now done again. The decision to change my bet was something many people might have done in the moment, but looking back 10 years later, I wish I didn't. Once again, let me be clear. I was fully cooperative of Valve's investigation. I gave them an honest account of my knowledge and actions. I was transparent, and I didn't face a punishment of any kind. Here are the results of their own investigation, and the following blog post made by Valve themselves regarding the matter. And finally, the Hiko clip. This is the clip used by the rage baiters the most to try to implicate me in the iBUYPOWER situation.
It's weird to me that Shahzam would say one thing at 6 months ago, and then all of a sudden he joins Cloud9, and now he gained a conscience. Like, it doesn't make much sense to me. And the fact that he actually messaged me and Jordan, like, he was just me, you can say whatever, but the fact that he messaged Jordan as well, like, I don't think Jordan would lie to you. I'm pretty sure Jordan would tell you the truth that he messaged him too.
To give context, I joined Cloud9 after Hiko had stepped down from Cloud9 to join the iBUYPOWER core. As a team, Hiko and the iBUYPOWER guys had signed with the Evil Geniuses organization. This team was never officially announced because they got banned before their debut at MLG X Games Aspen 2015. They were listed under Wicked Masterminds. With their throne game back in August being more in the open, it was honestly a gamble by him. It really sucked for him. He was an innocent party, and his new team got banned and dropped from their new contracts before they even started, and he was left teamless. The clip in question was taken right after his team was announced, banned, and dropped. I don't hold any ill feelings towards Hiko so many years later, but I wish he didn't say that. I'm not 100% sure why he did, and I understand he was in a difficult position, but his statement about me asking to throw a game is entirely false. Jordan, the teammate that Hiko specifically mentioned in the clip, publicly clarified with this tweet on the same day that the Hiko clip was posted to YouTube. Also, here's a clip of Richard Lewis's perspective.
It was no secret in the NA scene that these players have been involved in match fixing. You know, it was out there, and people knew about it. People had talked about it. I think Hiko had a particular issue with Shahzam, who was one of the players that came into Cloud9 after Hiko went, and he had been very public about how he didn't particularly like him and felt he was potentially involved and embroiled in all of that. Now, what you can read into that what you want, because Shahzam was actually one of the guys who, you know, for all the things he's done, good or ill, previous, he was one of the guys that came out and did try to bring attention to the match fixing issue. And you could say maybe Hiko was trying to discredit him to kind of draw attention away from this constant speculation about what was going to happen to these players. Were they ever going to get caught? That's one way of looking at it. I don't necessarily subscribe to that myself. I think another way of looking at it is he just didn't like Shahzam.
I've never sacrificed competitive integrity. I always try to win, whether it's a match or a simple rank game. This situation happened 10 years ago before I joined my first ever pro team. I've worked hard to be a competitor in this space for a long time, and I've been fortunate to be rewarded for that hard work and integrity.
And so at the end of the day, you know, with some CS news, it's always fun to revisit the match fixing scandal. It's just crazy that a video went so viral about Shahzam being a part of iBUYPOWER, even though he wasn't a part of iBUYPOWER or a part of the fix, at least directly, right? And he had to respond to something that was over a decade ago, or near a decade ago now, just to try and, you know, not get his name completely drugged through the mud once again for something he played such a little part in. It just kind of sucks. But what do you guys think about all of this? And as per usual, thank all of you guys for commenting, for sharing, for DMing me on Twitter, some nice clips out there of gameplay, which is what we will go back to after today's video. So hope you guys all enjoy. Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you back here sometime soon. Take care.